Why do we keep saying yes to those who we really want to say no to? But we continue to say no to ourselves to save our yeses for somebody else. Why do we do that? If you resonated with that feeling, one of the things that you probably suffer with is people pleasing, or just overall you let people use you. People have made it a habit to continue to use you over and over and mask it in, oh, you're resourceful. Thank you. You're always here for me. I know if I need anything, I can count on you. But can you count on them? Stop letting people use you. The purpose of this video is not to call anybody out necessarily, but it's to gather around the table and let's just have a keep it real moment, y'all. We will be discussing just having respect for yourself, breaking the cycle of people playing with you. People thinking that just because you have and you can, you will. Because that's not the case. Because once they believe, and y'all know this, once they believe that anytime there's a need that they can come to you and you have this big heart, I can get it from them. No. Because in the end, when they take everything from you, typically what do you have left? Nothing. When you reach out to those people who are constantly fed by your presence, by your energy, by your resources, what do you get from them? Nothing. And you're probably the person that won't even ask for anything significant. Like if you ask for help, you really need it. Well, Z, you talking, but what is being used, right? Well, I'm just helping out my people. I gotta be there for them, and that's fine, right? So we'll start with the definition of what I think being used or overly utilized or overly dependent on looks like. When you get around somebody, that's like your body start to feel heavy, right? You know that you're getting ready to have to provide something. And it may not always be resources. You know you're going to have to provide a listening ear, sound advice. Even though these people are not listening to you, right? They're using your energy, your advice, your resources as a crutch in order to not have to get over the things that they're battling. And they come to you constantly to get that dose of dopamine of I have an answer for today. And as you're giving out that dopamine, you're beginning to stress because it's like they're not listening. Didn't I just have to help you last week? Didn't I just tell you about that man last week, yet you're still here? You're asking me the same thing. They're doing the same thing. She's doing the same thing. But because I am a good person, because I love the way I love, because I give out the love and attention that I wish that I had when at some point in my life or I felt like I needed, I'm going to still give it to you anyway. That is being used. The overconsumption of your energy, time, resources with nothing in return, with no application of the things that you have given. You're constantly giving money. Why haven't they started saving money yet? Because they know that they can come back to you and you will give them your last. That is being used. And it's going to get to a point, y'all, where you are being used so much where you will have nothing left. And then your dreams, your aspirations, hell, even your health will be on the back burner and or decline because you've given out so much and you haven't reserved anything for yourself. You got to stop that. You have to finally sit down, because I had to do this, right? Being the yes man, the good guy, not wanting to step on too many toes, but also wanting to be the savior of all, I said yes to a lot of things. And ultimately, it caused me to fail at my first big business venture. Right? I was 22, and by the time I was 22. By the time of December of that year, my business was making about $500,000 a month. But I didn't even have myself together. I'm sleeping in the office. Me and my business partner sleeping in cars while it's snowing, etc. Right? But we're bringing on all these people. We're gonna save you, and we're gonna do this, while also damaging the business. Like, as the money's coming in, we're sending it out. Hey, I need to make more money. Oh, I got this going on in my family. And my immature mind, I was like, well, I'm making all this money. I can get it back. I'm gonna make sure y'all are straight first and put me on the back burner. I'm gonna make sure y'all okay. Wrong. And if anybody is in that position now, before I tell you how to fix this, I want to tell you to take your power back today. Tell those people no. It is okay to say no, and it is okay for them to walk away. Because them walking away will only hurt momentarily. But when you have when you have a peace of mind for you, and only you, you'll be fine. I promise you'll be fine. But the regret of saying, I wish I would have, I should have done, and I knew better, and you having to climb out of whatever hole you put yourself in because you value them more than you value yourself, that pain hurts worse. Because that pain lasts for years. Literally years. Especially when we're talking about business. Because if you are that type of person in business, you have went into that. I can 99% guarantee anybody who is acting like that in business, you got in some kind of debt, and it's probably heavy debt. At least $30,000 or more. Credit in shambles. And guess what? Everybody that you helped, everybody that had their hand out, everybody that you put above yourself ain't nowhere to be found. You can't call them. You can't text them. You can't do nothing. And I know a lot of times we hear this corny talking points and advice. Well, you need to learn how to set boundaries. I get it. People have the words for virality without actually explaining it. But how to get people to stop using you, one of the biggest things is you have to set boundaries. But boundaries are not about telling them what not to do. Right? Like, I don't know how many of y'all in video games or superhero movies, but imagine you as a person and you have this bubble, this force field, shield, whatever you want to call it, aura, whatever. That force field is considered a boundary. Even by definition, it is just a boundary. It's nothing ooky spooky deep about it. It's a boundary. But for this example, this is your personal boundary, your morals, your the things that you care for. The one thing about setting boundaries is oftentimes we focus on telling people, you're not going to do this to me. I'm not going to have anybody around who does this. If you're going to do this, you're not going to be here. That's not setting a boundary. That's telling everybody your expectations, but nobody has to meet those. Setting a boundary is telling yourself and showing, but first telling yourself, this is what I will and won't accept. If you try and cross that line, it's not happening. I'm not moving. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to let these things affect me. Setting the boundary doesn't start with the other person. It starts with yourself. Because even imagine in a video game, right? You getting your ass kicked in life. Or whatever. You're getting your ass kicked. And you have that one power up where you can have a temporary shield. Now your enemy is outside doing whatever they can to get in. They doing whatever. Yet they cannot hit you. Why? Because of the boundary that is surrounded around you. The boundary that surrounds you, excuse me. Nowhere in that time period did that boundary say, hey, stop hitting me. No, you won't swing on me. Go the other way. I'm not going to allow you to do this. No. It's just any attacks that are coming in that I can handle as this boundary. It's not coming through. Now, if the attack is more powerful than the boundary that I have set or the boundary that I'm using, then yes, it may get through. And I need a stronger boundary. But setting boundaries is vital. But in order to do that, you have to know, one, your values, and two, why do you have a lack of boundaries? As men, I'm mainly speaking for the men right now, we have not sat back long enough and truly explored why we do the things that we do. And there are several reasons why a lot of times we don't have the appropriate boundaries set for ourselves and people use us. There are a few different reasons why our boundaries are lacking. And I'm not going to go super deep into them, but one could be you fear rejection or conflict. All of this to me is, majority of this is bound up in trauma, whether it's from your childhood, something in your past, something recent. It's all trauma based. Now, I'm not a therapist. I ain't none of that, but I can read and I got common sense. Number one, you are either, as I said, scared of conflict. You fear conflict or rejection. So you just let people use you. I don't know if you grew up with a mom who, she needed your help with something. Well, mom, I don't really feel like doing. Blah, 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 blah. You just like your black boo, 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 daddy. And I boo, 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 boo. And boo, boo, boo. Yeah. So then what you do to make sure mama not yelling, to make sure mama not stressing? Okay, mom, I'm going to help you. Okay, mom, I got it. Mama, don't worry about it. You ain't got to cry. Okay, mom, I ain't going to be like my daddy. I ain't going to blah, blah, blah. Because even when they say, especially at a young age, you're going to be just like, and I'm nothing like them. I'm trying not to be like them. That is rejection. You are rejecting me for who I am right now. No matter if I'm trying to, you're just throwing it at me. You're trying to hurt me. But what can I do to my mama? I can't do anything. Or just make it another family member. Well, they say, oh, you're going to be just like your mama. Right? I'm not going to do anything to them. So the best thing that I know how to do is make it where they don't say it again. Whatever you fussed at me for, I'm not going to do it again. Right? As a matter of fact, I'm going to make you happy enough to where you don't even think like that anymore. I'm not like them. Which goes to the people pleasing. Me? No. I'll give you anything. I'll do this. I'm not that person. I'm the savior. Or I'm the martyr. Right? And in another video, I am going to get into just people pleasing, period. Because there are 4 different archetypes of people pleasers. Everybody likes to just stick on one. But either way, having to always avoid the conflict of, especially as a kid, of someone who has a disdain for your family member, father, whatever. That's one. And I would say another thing is just low self-worth, or you've been just groomed to do that. It ties into the avoiding conflict. Or you fear conflict or resentment or rejection. Once you have lived like that for so long, that is the only way you know how to live. If you have stayed with your mother for 10 years, and for 10 years you fear that if I mess up, I'm going to be just like him. No matter what situation it is, if I mess up in school, I'm going to be just like my mother, or like my aunt, or like your older brother. But I don't want to be like that. I want to be the good kid. I want to be the good guy. I want to be loved and accepted. So I'm going to perform the behaviors that get me what I want. And even though that sounds like manipulation, that is another sign of people pleasing. That's what a lot of people don't understand. When you perform the behaviors just to get something, that is still people pleasing. And these are some of the basis of why people use you. Because they see these things, and then you accept their behavior. And with accepting their behavior, you're teaching them how they can treat you. And then you're giving full access to the best parts of you for people to overutilize. That is why I say therapy is important. Because your self-image is what's going to control what you allow. It's okay to go to therapy. It's not, you don't have to go into therapy and just cry. It doesn't make you crazy. You need to get that off your chest, because they are using you, because you're not understanding where this is coming from. You're not understanding why you're letting them do it. You are simply avoiding the possible conflict that could show up. So either way, my man, because I don't want to keep going on and on. In order to fix people using you, you need to set clear boundaries. Practice saying no. Just straight up no. You don't have to give an answer. Well, why can't you? I ain't got it. Well, I need you to go. I don't have time right now. I'm sorry. Prioritize you. Start small. Start like say no to something small. Right? People, you after watching this or something like this or going to therapy, you still may see people are getting over on you. Build up your courage with your nose. Build up your courage with your consistency and prioritizing yourself. Start small with, talking about your feelings and recognizing those minor incidents one by one. You may know it was a major incident that caused you to feel like this, but start working on healing the steps up until that incident. You don't have to tackle the big trauma in the beginning. That's why therapy is important. And the last thing I would say is don't stop trying to be perfect. You trying to be perfect is the reason why you have that people pleasing tendency, why you let people use you. Because if you say no, especially as a man, if you say no, that means you ain't got it. And if you ain't got it, or you a man, but I'm telling y'all understand where I'm coming from when it's just stop letting these people use you, yo. It is Raji, aka Z, with Master Your Purpose, and we've been consistent in 2025, y'all. We do everything for everybody. We're gonna do everything for ourselves. My goal is to post every day, and if you want motivation and or to follow this journey, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I'm back at it tomorrow.